Crimea Bridge is once again in the global spotlight. Explosions, tensions, and unanswered questions. Was the bridge really under fire? And more importantly, how will Russia respond now? The next move could change the direction of the war. Stay with me till the end, because what happens next may shock the entire world. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are discussing one of the most sensitive and dangerous developments in the Ukraine war. The Crimean Bridge has once again become the center of global attention. This bridge is not just concrete and steel. It is a powerful symbol. It connects Crimea to mainland Russia. It also represents control, pride, and strategy. Recent reports suggest new tension around this bridge. Some sources claim it may have come under fire. Others say Russia intercepted threats in time. What is confirmed is one thing. Moscow is not silent. Russian officials are sending strong signals. Military movements are being noticed. Statements are becoming sharper. The world is watching carefully. Why does this matter so much? Because the Crimean Bridge is vital for supplies. It supports military logistics. It also supports civilian movement. Any threat to it raises alarm bells. Ukraine sees it as a strategic target. Russia sees it as a red line. Crossing that line could trigger major consequences. In this video, we will break everything down step by step. No hype, no exaggeration, only analysis. We will look at why this bridge matters, what may have happened, and what Russia's next move could be. Make sure you watch till the end, because the final section explains what could come next. To understand the current situation, we must first understand the importance of the Crimean Bridge. This bridge was opened in 2018. It directly links Crimea with Russia. For Moscow, it is a strategic lifeline. Fuel, weapons, food supplies, troop movement, all depend on this route. That is why it has been targeted before. Previous attacks damaged parts of the bridge. Each incident caused panic and anger in Russia. Since then, security has been tightened. Air defenses were added. Naval patrols increased. Surveillance systems upgraded. Despite this, the threat never disappeared. Ukraine considers the bridge a military objective. From Kiev's perspective, it supports Russian occupation. From Russia's perspective, it supports sovereignty. This difference makes the bridge extremely dangerous ground. Any incident here carries massive political weight. Even rumors can move markets and militaries. That is what we are seeing now. Reports of possible strikes spread quickly. Social media amplified fear. Officials responded cautiously. Russia did not confirm damage, but it did not deny tension either. Instead, warnings were issued. This usually signals preparation. Historically, Russia responds strongly to symbolic threats, not always immediately, but decisively. That is why analysts are concerned. The bridge is more than infrastructure. It is a trigger point. And right now, the trigger looks very sensitive. So what exactly happened around the Crimean Bridge this time? That is the big question. Information is limited, and information warfare is intense. Some reports suggest drones were involved. Others mention missile threats. Russia claims its defenses were active. Ukraine remains largely silent. This silence itself sends a message. In modern warfare, silence can be strategy. What we do know is this. Russian emergency systems were activated. Traffic was briefly restricted. Security levels were raised. These steps are not routine. They indicate perceived danger. At the same time, Russian media shifted tone. Instead of calm messaging, we saw warnings. Officials spoke about consequences. Military bloggers discussed retaliation. This pattern has appeared before. After earlier bridge incidents, Russia responded with wide strikes. Not just symbolic responses, but operational ones. Energy infrastructure, command centers, logistics hubs. This history makes the current situation alarming, because when Russia signals a response, it usually follows through. The question is timing. Will it be immediate or delayed? Russia often waits to choose the moment. This keeps opponents guessing and increases psychological pressure. Right now, that pressure is rising, not just on Ukraine, but on the entire region, because escalation here affects everyone. Let us now focus on Russia's possible next move. This is where speculation begins. But informed speculation matters. Russia has several options. The first is a direct military response. This could mean missile strikes, drone waves, or combined operations. Targets could include infrastructure, military bases, supply routes. Another option is asymmetric escalation, cyber attacks, energy pressure, naval maneuvers. Russia has used these tools before. They send strong messages without immediate battlefield clashes. A third option is political escalation. Russia could declare new red lines. It could expand mobilization, or formally change its war objectives. This would signal a long conflict. Which option is most likely? Historically, Russia chooses a mix, a visible response, and a strategic one. Not all reactions are loud. Some are silent but powerful. For example, increased air patrols, submarine movements, or long-range bomber readiness. These actions raise global alert levels. They also test Western responses. Another key factor is timing. Russia often strikes when attention fades. when the world moves on. That is why analysts are cautious. Silence does not mean restraint. It can mean planning. And right now planning appears underway. The bridge incident may only be the beginning, not the climax. That is what worries many observers today. Ukraine's position in this situation is also complex. Kyiv understands the symbolic power of the bridge. It also understands the risks. Any action linked to Crimea invites strong retaliation. That is why official statements remain careful. Ukraine often uses ambiguity. This keeps pressure on Russia, while avoiding direct confirmation. From a strategic view, Ukraine benefits from uncertainty. It forces Russia to spend resources on defense. It stretches supply lines. It creates internal anxiety. However, there is a cost. If Russia responds heavily, Ukraine's infrastructure suffers. Energy systems, cities, civilian morale. These have been targeted before. Ukraine must balance impact with survival. This balancing act is becoming harder. As the war drags on, resources thin. International support matters more than ever. Any escalation near Crimea tests Western unity. Some allies fear wider war. Others push for stronger action. This division is something Russia watches closely. If Russia senses hesitation, it may push harder. If it senses unity, it may pause. This makes global reaction critical, not just battlefield action. Statements from Washington, from Europe, from NATO, all shape what comes next. Right now, reactions are cautious. Calls for restraint dominate. But restraint has limits. And history shows crises can spiral quickly, especially around symbols like Crimea. The next days will be decisive. The international reaction to the Crimean Bridge tension has been measured but tense. Governments are watching closely. No one wants sudden escalation. At the same time, no one is surprised. This bridge has always been a flashpoint. Western officials avoid direct comments. They speak in general terms, calling for de-escalation, respect for international law, and protection of civilians. Behind the scenes, diplomacy is active. Hotlines are likely in use. Messages are being passed quietly. This is standard during high-risk moments. Markets also react to such tensions. Energy prices fluctuate. Shipping routes are reassessed. Insurance costs rise. This shows how one bridge affects the global system. Media coverage adds another layer. Headlines amplify fear. Social media spreads unverified claims. This creates confusion, and confusion increases risk. That is why verified analysis matters. Not every report is accurate. Not every video is real. Both sides use information as a weapon. Russia emphasizes deterrence. Ukraine emphasizes resistance. The truth often lies in between. What matters now is trajectory. Are we moving toward escalation or stabilization? Current signals suggest tension is increasing, not decreasing. Military readiness levels appear elevated. This does not guarantee strikes, but it increases probability. History shows accidents happen in such environments. Misjudgments occur, and once started, escalation is hard to stop. That is why this moment is so critical. Another important angle is public opinion inside Russia. The Crimean Bridge holds emotional value. It is presented as a national achievement. Any threat to it is framed as an attack on Russia itself. This framing shapes domestic expectations. Russian leadership must respond visibly. Silence can be seen as weakness, especially during wartime. State media reinforces this narrative. Talk shows discuss retaliation openly. Commentators call for strong action. This creates pressure. Leaders must balance strategy with perception. Too soft and they lose credibility. Too hard and they risk escalation. This balance is delicate. Past incidents show Russia prefers decisive messaging, even if action comes later. This maintains public confidence. It also deters future attempts. However, repeated escalation carries costs. Economic strain, military fatigue, international isolation. These factors are real. They influence decisions. Russia may choose a response that is symbolic, rather than maximal. For example, targeting military assets only, or striking away from civilian areas. This would signal strength without full escalation. But there is no guarantee. War dynamics are unpredictable. Emotions matter. Symbols matter. And the Crimean Bridge combines both. That makes rational calculation harder. This is why analysts warn of miscalculation. When symbols are involved, logic sometimes takes a back seat, and consequences can be severe. This is the danger of the current moment. Let us also consider the military balance around Crimea. Russia has heavily fortified the region. Air defenses are dense. Naval assets are positioned nearby. Ground forces are entrenched. This makes direct attacks difficult, but not impossible. Modern warfare uses drones, long-range systems, sabotage, cyber operations. These tools bypass traditional defenses. That is why Russia remains alert. Constant alertness drains resources. It requires manpower, equipment, logistics. Over time, this creates strain. Ukraine understands this. Even limited threats can have impact. For Russia, defending Crimea is non-negotiable. Any perception of vulnerability is dangerous. That is why responses tend to be strong. From a military planning view, Russia may aim to restore deterrence. Deterrence means convincing the opponent not to try again. This often requires demonstration, not just words. This could mean strikes elsewhere, not necessarily on the bridge area. The goal would be message delivery, not damage alone. At the same time, Russia must avoid triggering direct NATO involvement. This limits options. Strikes must be calibrated. This complexity makes prediction difficult, but one thing is clear. The situation is tense. Forces are ready, decisions are pending, and small events could have large effects. That is why observers urge caution, because once actions begin, control becomes harder. The bridge incident sits at the edge of escalation. Not yet over, but dangerously close. Looking ahead, several scenarios are possible. The first is limited retaliation. Russia strikes selected targets, then pauses. This signals strength and ends the cycle. The second scenario is gradual escalation, tit-for-tat actions. Each side responds incrementally. This prolongs tension, increases risk, but avoids all-out war. The third scenario is broader escalation, wider strikes, expanded objectives. This would mark a new phase of the conflict. Which scenario unfolds depends on decisions made now. Leadership calculations, international pressure, military assessments, all play roles. Public reactions matter too. Fear can push leaders to act. Confidence can restrain them. Right now, uncertainty dominates. That itself is destabilizing. For civilians, this means anxiety. For soldiers, it means readiness. For markets, it means volatility. Everyone feels the impact. That is why accurate information is vital. Not rumors, not exaggeration. Understanding reduces panic. This channel aims to provide that. We do not predict doom. We analyze trends. The trend now shows tension rising, but not yet exploding. There is still space for restraint, diplomacy, back-channel communication. These tools exist. Whether they are used effectively remains to be seen. History offers lessons. Many crises escalated due to misreading signals. Others were diffused quietly. Which path this one takes depends on choices made in the shadows, not just headlines. That is what makes this moment critical. As we conclude, let us step back and reflect. The Crimean Bridge is more than a structure. It is a symbol of control, identity, and power. Any tension around it resonates far beyond the region. What we see now is a test of resolve, a test of restraint. Russia signals readiness. Ukraine signals resistance. The world signals concern. These signals interact. They shape outcomes. At this moment, no confirmed major strike has been acknowledged, but preparation is visible. That alone is significant. In geopolitics, preparation often precedes action, but sometimes it prevents it. Deterrence works both ways. It can stop attacks or provoke them. The coming days will reveal which effect dominates. For viewers, it is important to stay informed, but also critical. Not every dramatic claim is true. Not every silence means weakness. We must watch patterns, not noise. Military movements, official language, international reactions. These indicators matter. This channel will continue monitoring developments. We will update as facts emerge, without panic, without bias. Understanding reduces fear. That is our goal. If escalation occurs, we will analyze why. If restraint holds, we will explain how. Either way, the Crimean Bridge will remain central, because symbols shape wars as much as weapons. And right now, that symbol stands at a crossroads. What happens next could shock the world, or it could quietly reset boundaries. History is being written in real time, and we are all witnesses. If you found this analysis useful, like the video. Subscribe to the channel for clear and calm updates. Share this video so others can understand what is really happening. And comment below. Do you think Russia will escalate, or will restraint prevail?